Hello, hello. So, round of applause for my Kador opponent. This is his first 75-point game, and nonetheless, he's brave enough to take on Haley 3. I'm a piss poor player, but he's brave enough to take on Haley 3. Yeah, I also don't think he knows what Haley 3 does or is. So he also doesn't know what any of the original models look like. So I figured this is a great chance to drop Haley 3 because I'm learning Haley 3. I'm learning Signar, and I don't have any of the correct models, and he doesn't know what they are originally. So we're just talking through what my stuff does, so he knows what to prioritize on his turn. And we're here to play a game. He's here to learn. I'm here to learn. It's make stuff happen and have a great time, and it was a fantastic game. So let's cast this, and I want to talk about what my Haley 3 list is doing and go over it and what I'm learning with it and the mistakes I'm finding as I go. Because very much so with Haley 3, she almost immediately I've realized that she requires mastery of every aspect of the game. And she reveals, by me making a mistake, what aspects of the game are not muscle memory and instinct. The ones that aren't muscle memory and instinct, they get clogged up and they get jammed and they get screwed up. Like, for example, is the order of activations for the support and preparing that order of activations for support. The Hitch dude has to have everything in his correct bubbles for tactician. In his command range, I believe it's 9, maybe it's 8. And he also has to do his battle plans. I have to remember to do that for the Trencher Long Gunners. Before that, I have to remember to get Kisselilus with Ion and Holt. Before that, I need to have Ragman set up so that at the end of the turn, for next turn, he can get to a spot where he can Death Shroud appropriately for the Trench Busters to unjam me. Trench Busters have to be set up so that if anything comes into my front lines, no matter where it is, I can get the Trench Busters there. They can jank it up with Ragman giving them Dark Shroud and do the work that they need to do. Express teams, they're not as critical in this matchup, but where Grievous Wounds is needed, pretty critical. So let's do this. I got my 2-minute deploy, got my long gunners across from his heavy jacks. I ended up going second because I didn't want to deploy with a forest in the middle. I actually chose second. That was not something I practiced. I was hoping that I could use Haley, Grandma Haley, to give me Ghost Walk turn 1 to get through the forest. Cannot, because she can't activate. Yeah, that's not good. So after looking that up, I decided to not take the side with the forest. That is a whole nother can of worms that I'm going to have to open up at a future date. It's funny how one little stinking forest can screw me up, but it did. So as far as deployment goes, I'm not going to try and spread too wide. I'm going to have some clouds on the right side of that forest. I'm going to have some clouds on the left side of the forest. These two battle mages right here and the infiltrators are my they're my trenchers. And the battle mages are the sniper and unit leader. Finn is going to be scoring this flag and maybe lawnmowering. And the dog is going to hopefully go and bark at the Kayazay eliminators because bork intruder. So he goes running up. He gets all his Rocketeers up the middle. He gets his Winter Guard to the left over by that flag. We're not playing scenario. Otherwise, this would be a much better game. For his first 75-point game, he's been doing battle box mostly. I felt like that was a little bit too much to put on. And honestly, this worked out really well and worked out a lot better. So here we are. So my turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up. I don't plan on taking any shots. So because I'm not taking any shots, I'm not going to be doing anything offensively. It makes it really easy. I can do my trenchers first, which I'm having a hard time imagining a turn 1 where I would be taking shots with something, but I don't want to rule out the possibility of it happening. That's going to be a separate deployment that I'm going to have to practice at a later date. For this deployment, trenchers go up, and Haley activates first. She goes, she puts the echoes as far forward as she can, and she gets tactical supremacy out and temporal distortion, and that drains all 8 of her focus, so she is on nothing, and I'm pretty sure that is just going to be a typical turn 1. That's just how life is going to be. Everything is going to go up and dig in because Conquest can throw around a thing of blast damage that's probably not going to feel good. So yeah, pretty much my whole list digs in. Murdoch gets back. Aiyana and Holt and Ragman go to the spots where they need to be, and the board looks sort of like this. Now, I didn't take an in-between picture, which was unfortunate. Regrets that I have. This trench buster dude does not need to be out in front. He's blocking Aiyana and Holt. And he's also blocking Ragman. That's a mistake. That is a mistake on my part. He does not need to be up there. He can just be sitting right back there behind those long gunners, and he can reach everything he needs to reach. Thorn is up there, so he can hop into the forest and do all kinds of really bad arc node things, since Haley 3's got an amazing freaking spell list. So what happens on his turn is also that was a 5-minute deployment. Unfortunately, I did not meet my 4-minute, but I actually had things that I needed to think about, and I don't regret it taking 5 minutes because I had to think about where to put my trenchers to keep them safe. His Spriggan comes up. Those 2 dice are where he puts it down as AoE 3s so that he can see my trenchers that are behind those clouds, and they get lit up. They get lit up by Rocketeers. They get lit up by Conquest, and it's kind of rough. So what is going to happen now for my turn, Aiyana and Holt are going to activate first. They're going to walk up, skirting the edge of that rough terrain crater template, and they're going to put Kiss on Beast 09. Then Thorn's going to go up and get next to it, and then the Haleys are going to activate. It's not going to be a feed turn because I'm pretty sure young Haley can hit a defense 10 just needing a 6. It's a chance, but it's not the worst thing in the world if it doesn't hit it. So he hits it, and Beast 09 gets slammed right over the top of those 2 Rocketeers. So it's been kissed, and then the long gunners just frickin' unload on the sucker. And because I get +2 of damage and it's dice off 8, I decide 2-man CRAs are the correct number, bringing it to POW 14, dice off 6, because I have the rerolls with Hitch and do really good things. And I about half kill Beast 09. Pretty impressive, felt pretty good, pretty cool. Also, something that I'm messing up, I've never had a three-person Haley unit. And this is something that's been revealed with the Arcanist unit. When I play like a Warcaster and I play a single Warcaster, I get used to just doing single Warcaster things. When I had Arcanist, I got used to single Arcanist things. So when I got an Arcanist unit, I was activating the Arcanist unit individually, and it screwed me up for a long time until Aaron Allen absolutely refused to let me do any takebacks. And yeah, you can bet I got damn good at moving that Arcanist unit correctly after that. Lewis is a lot nicer of a guy than Aaron Allen, so I did lots of takebacks on my Haley Prime unit. I messed them up. I was trying to activate them individually, and if I'm not mistaken, they are a unit, and they need to be activated and move and do all their combat actions at the same time. I'm not sure what to do with Haley Past. As far as I can tell with Haley Past, she fills up the jacks, and she does revives, and she does Ghost Walk. I think that's all she does. Maybe she shoots someone during an assassination. I really feel like I want more out of her, but at the same time, I feel like this is okay. She puts Ghost Walk on the trenchers. That crater is messing everything up, and I need to get my trenchers over there to create clouds. So that happens. Haley passed, and Haley 3 just moves up a little bit with her activation and puts up Temporal Distortion. And yeah, I did hit the Force Hammer, and it did work out just as planned. Ragman and the Trench Busters are still set up to unjam. Express Team shoots some Winter Guard. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty much all that happens this turn. I just recloud and do a little bit of damage. And yeah. Oh, and I think I shoot. The dog comes up, barks, and I shoot down the Kayazay eliminator that's not completely in the trench. Because that was cool. So turn looks like this. Oh, and Beast 09 got shot by the Express Team and pushed all the way back there with a 3-inch push. So that happened. Now it's his turn, and he's going to kill some stuff. He's going to do the same cloud removal thing, and he's going to shoot down the rest of my trenchers. He likes shooting trenchers because then I can't cloud wall. Because his all of his CRA Rocket Man can't really shoot stuff much. Oh, and I ran Ironclad up here because my strategy with him, and I thought I needed him to be in 8 inches of that Haley, but he could just be in 16 inches of main Haley. idea is that I want him to get into the Winter Guard and just make them useless. I also wasn't too worried about them getting shot down by the Winter Guard unless Sorsha pops feet. And I would be more than happy for Sorsha to pop feet and try and just take the Ironclad and maybe Thorn off the table. If that was the case, that would be a very happy sacrifice because then I don't have to worry about Haley getting assassinated. When I was thinking about this matchup, Sorsha's damage feat, I feel like only really applies to either killing the Haley or the Ironclad or Thorn, and I would much rather Ironclad and Thorn get killed rather than my things that I care about. So, yeah, that happens. I lose more trenchers from the Spriggan, putting his flare clouds out. He has an answer to my cloud wall, and he is pulling my cloud wall apart. Conquest shoots, I think, to the side and goes for an incendiary shot and misses it because temporal distortion. I've got Ragman horribly positioned, and I've got Aiyana and Holt horribly positioned. This is a very good lesson to learn. They can't get to where they need to be to do Kiss. They just can't. They're completely messed up. Full blown, full stop. This is bad. Ragman is Lanissa right there. She cannot get to where, or Ragman cannot get to where he needs to be with the long gunners in the way. This is a complete mess up on my part. These two trench busters that are taking up crap tons of space, they just need to be right back there behind my long gunners hanging out. That is an issue for future Connor to correct. And then there needs to be a little channel in between the long gunners where Ragman can go right through and where Aiyana and Holt can go right through. And that's what needs to happen. It's pretty easy to set up, and I'm just goofing. This is what I was talking about with Haley 3. It's the muscle memory, and it's a mistake. So his turn. He's going to put his Kayazay... oh, wait, or is this my turn? No, this is his turn. He's going to put his Kayazay Eliminator into my long gunners. Charges the long gunners, and I think he kills 2 of them. And he sidesteps over to my express team. Conquest did some shooting before that. Beast 09 just came up, and Spriggan came up, and they both chilled out in the trench. Rocketeers shot Ironclad a whole bunch, did very lackluster damage. Winter Guard didn't really know what to shoot, so they shot Ironclad because I've got the spotter, the line of sight to the spotter blocked off. We both know it's a medium base. So yeah, that happens. And this is more or less what the board looks like. I lost more trenchers yet again. Yep, and there's that Kayazay Eliminator up in my grill. So, my turn. Finn is going to Pac-Man, but Finn also does Veteran Leader. And I want Veteran Leader to hit things. This Trench Buster over here, time for you to do your job, man. You go kill that frickin' Kayazay Eliminator. So, Haley's need to activate first. And, Thorn needs to activate first. I take a few minutes. I'm doing okay on time at 40 minutes. And it's... I think it's actually top of turn 3. Yeah. Thorn goes first and gets to a spot where I can slam that Spriggan. And it's going to be a feat turn. Because I want to reliably hit that Spriggan and slam it and knock it down so I don't have to worry about missing a defense 14. Even though, as I learned later, trencher long gunner CRAs with sacrificing movement are ridiculously accurate. My frickin' goodness. But yeah. Thorn goes first, slams Spriggan into Conquest. I wanted that to happen. And then Haley's activated to do that. Haley's pop feet. Past Haley comes over here, revives 2 trenchers over there, and she walks into the middle of these long gunners, so that way the Kayazay Eliminator is -2 defense. The Trench Buster then walks behind the Kayazay Eliminator. So the Kayazay Eliminator goes from a defense 17 in melee behind it to 15, temporal distortion down to 13, and then the Trench Buster has flank, so it becomes a mat 8 against the 13, and it only needs a 5 to hit. And that's the ridiculous frickin' power of Haley 3. If you put the tools in the right places, it's just phenomenal what you can do with these tools. And I also forgot to put in Finn in there, who makes it needing a 4 to hit a defense 13 with pretty easy, just Super, super easy stuff. And yeah, the Trench Buster absolutely pace the Kayazay Eliminator. Oh yeah, and Temporal Distortion, so Haley's on a little bit of a camp. And then after that, Aiyana and Holt go up, I did slam the Spriggan, and I hit it, and I felt good about myself, and I felt good about life, except for it can't be knocked down. So that was a waste of time. So then Aiyana and Holt are going to go up, and they're going to try and kiss the Spriggan. This Trench Buster moves out of the way, so it can actually do that. Good thing I didn't need to commit that Trench Buster, because otherwise order of activation problem sort of a little bit annoying. Aiyana and Holt missed the 7 they need to hit the Spriggan, because it's defense 14 in the trench. So Long Gunners, it's time to shoot. I do a 2-man CRA. It's a POW 12 against an armor 21. The dice on that is horrible. So I quickly realized, let's go to a 4-man CRA. Becomes a POW 14 against an armor 21. Dice are off 7. Still not great math. What I should have been doing here is just straight up doing 2 10-man CRAs. And that would actually get a lot more damage through than what I want with the rerolls. Because I'm going to probably be consistently rolling a 6 or 7 or an 8 or a 9 with those 2 dice. And if it's dice off 1, I'm actually getting a good chunk of damage through. And that's where the Long Gunners kind of go for the dice math fixing and sacrificing movement. So that happened. The damage really was not very exciting because I didn't know this dice math. But now I understand the dice math. After that, and seeing how ineffective it was and thinking about my options on his turn, that's what I came up with, and it's a good lesson to learn with the Trencher Long Gunner dice math. You either get it so it's dice off 6, or you just go, and if it's going to be way too many people involved in the CRA to do dice off 6, you just do a really big chunk of them, and you'll get good damage through. Maybe this is bad advice. I'm hoping my brother watches this and corrects me. So anyhow, that didn't really go very well. But now the exciting part. Finn, right here, who's a boss, charges these rockets, and he just lawnmowers his way through all of them and ends up right here at the end of this forest facing Sorsha. Like a freaking badass. And it was so satisfying. And that's not very nice to do to someone on their very first 75-point game. But it was really cool. And I couldn't resist, and I'm sorry, and I know that makes me a bad person, but he now understands what Finn means, and there are several models in the game that do the same Finn effect, and I showed him the warning signs of it, and he'll recognize them now, and I think it's a good lesson to learn. And that's how I justify being a bad person. For anyone else that's a bad person, take notes on how to justify being a bad person. Ironclad goes over there and kills 2 Winter Guard. Good for him. He's way out of control. He's just being annoying and hunting them down. Express Team, I think, misses? No, Express Team shoots one of the Winter Guard, and somehow 1 Winter Guard lives. So that was turn. Looks like this. Yep. He's now going to go and paste Aiyana and Holt and hit Thorn with the Thresher. With Beast 09, Spriggan's going to kill some more stuff. Conquest is going to light a whole bunch of people on fire and kill some stuff. And Sorsha is just going to Cyclone and scoot around and stuff. And that's where we are. So now it's my turn. Sorsha's on a 1 camp. And I think I want to do an assassination run. Unfortunately, I've already used feeder. This assassination run would be so much more reliable. I've got plenty of clock, and his models are winding down, so I know I can be very generous with my clock time. Oh, Winter Guard shot my spotter. Dick. And I also have a lot of people that are on fire. So the first thing that's going to happen here is... Oh, Ragman died from the fire, so I never got to use him because I just did not control him. Ragman and Aiyana were great failures this entire game. I run my trenchers. I run one of my trenchers to 2 and a 16th from Sorsha. And then I have Thorn line up 10 inches away from it. Baby Haley activates. All the Haleys activate. Pop. I do not pop Temporal Distortion because I forget, because I'm so fixated on the assassination run, which is another sign of a bad player. When you fixate on an assassination run and don't remember the other mechanics, and you've got freaking 26 minutes on clock. I should have been doing this correctly. I should have been doing all the other mechanics of the game correctly, but instead I fixated on the assassination run. I went for a force hammer on my own trencher model, and I missed it, needing I was a 4 in its back arc, and it was an 11, so I needed a 7. So, I mean, that's fair. And I also then needed to roll more than a 2 to slam it into Sorsha and knock her down. If I had knocked it down, Finn's going to shoot her D3 plus 1 times, and the long gunners are all going to walk up and shoot her, and the express team's going to walk up and shoot her. Express team last because of the Thunderbolt. Ailey Prime would hopefully have walked up and shot her, but I don't think she's in range anywhere near. But yeah, anyhow, that's how she would have died. Instead, I miss it, so then I regret not doing the rest of my game mechanics correctly and doing the Haleys correctly. And it's okay because there's a half-health Beastone 9 in front of me. And there's a Spriggan that I need to go kill. So, long gunners are going to activate first. One of them walks up to the Spriggan to trigger flank, or to the Beastone 9 to trigger flank, and the other one walks. Oh, the Haley also put reposition 3 on the long gunners. So one of them walked out into no man's land, and then after they do their thing, it repositioned into the Spriggan. So that way I can get flank on the Spriggan too for the trench buster. And then the rest of the long gunners, I do my dice math correctly. I do large CRAs, and I jank the hell out of that Spriggan. And I cripple its left arm, and I feel really good, and it's all messed up, and that was really, really cool. And now it's time for the trench busters to go do trench buster things. And this trench buster comes screaming in, and I roll all my dice, and I feel really cool, and I jank up Beastone 9, and he's barely alive. This trench buster comes in, and after all its shots, it kills the Spriggan. Feel really cool. Then Thorn walks over. No, sorry, Thorn didn't need to move for that slam on the Haley, and he boosts a lance attack and kills Beastone 9 the rest of the way dead, because Beastone 9 was jacked up earlier. That's more or less all that happens over here. I go kill that Winter Guard. Finn doesn't do anything because he's just going to sit there and wait for Sorsha to get knocked down. And that's what it looks like. Whoopee! Yeah. Oh, I did not upkeep Haley past because I no longer saw value in her. I did not do that so that way Haley could cast out Tactical Supremacy and still be on a really good camp. And so now Lewis sees his moment of glory. He's like, I've still got this feat, sucker. And then he's like, for the motherland. And Sorsha pops feet. And Conquest with Arcing Fire takes a range 20 shot with its POW 15. And he's a RAF 4, so he needed a 12 to hit. He hit the 12. He rolled really bad on 3 dice. He rolled a 6. I could have just been curse splattered right then and there. He rolled a 6, and with Sorsha's feet doubling all the damage that goes above my armor, it brought me down to 6 health boxes left. I think it was like 9 damage or something, or 10 damage or something like that. No, it was 14 damage. I shaved 5 of it, so 9 damage, and it left me with 6 boxes left. Something like that. I know I ended up on 6 boxes left. But I'm on fire because he called incendiary. So Lewis and I start talking. We start talking about the game, and all this other stuff happens. And Brad, one of our friends who plays this game with us, and is a very, very evil man, is sitting there watching, and he's just twitching and getting all excited and antsy. And he sees that Haley 3 is on fire, and he really wants her to die, and he loves it when I die. So while Lewis and I are talking, it ends up on my turn again, and I don't really care at this point. I'm going to put together something that's going to kill Sorsha. And while we're talking, he's just like, hey, can I roll the fire roll? In a like little really quiet little mouse whisper voice, and somewhere one of us says yeah. So he rolls the fire roll, and he's like, hey guys, the fire didn't go out. And so we're not even paying attention. And he's like, I'm just going to finish out this assassination run for you. We're still not paying attention. And he rolls the dice, and he's like, look, it's an 8. And it's dice off 2. Haley 3 dies. That shut us up. Our conversation ended. We shook hands like gentlemen and continued talking about the game. And Brad was a very happy camper. And he went back to probably trolling someone else.
I love Brad. He's great. Every meta needs a Brad. I really encourage you, if you do not have a Brad, to get a Brad.
He's the best thing for a meta you can get. Great guy. Thank you, everyone. Here's my Haley 3 game. I have no regrets. It's going to be a long road to getting things correctly. I feel like Aiyana and Holt and Ragman are definitely something I need a lot more practice using. Rhett doesn't have this type of support. I've never actually even gotten to use Aiyana and Holt's Kiss of Lilith. And I'm Rhett. And they're elves. Well, Aiyana's an elf. Holt's a dirty man. But it's just... I don't know. The ridiculous amount of support that Signar has kind of screws with me a little bit. All I have to think about support is where my Arcanists are going. So this is a new type of game for me, and I like it. Having 9 support pieces. That's so ridiculous. 9's... Okay, maybe it's not 9, but it's a lot of support pieces. Even Finn's a support piece. The dog is a support piece because he's giving dodge. Everything's a support frickin' piece. Anyhow, let me know what you guys think. Christian, please tell me how horrible I am and what I need to do better. And let me know what is incorrect in this video so I can tell people how bad I am correctly. Thank you. Bye.